Brad, Mike Petralia, WEEI. I guess, does it come down to you guys not being able to make shots? Is that really the basic problem in the series?
I think it put a lot of pressure on us to, then play from behind in this case or whatever the case may be, and then try to hit home runs. And as a result, you have some haphazard possessions, and those lead to points. You know, but that's part of it, and you have to continue to do your best to defend on each possession, regardless if shots are falling or if the offense is flowing. And I give our guys credit in that regard, especially as they continue to play through the fourth quarter. But we've got to get a lot better. I mean, that's pretty evident, and we knew that. But that's that.
Coach Taylor Snow, Celtics.com. Just looking at how the series played out, what was the impact of losing Avery back in Game 1?
We're not going to make any excuses about who's not out there. I mean, obviously, Avery's a really good player, and we're thrilled he's a Celtic. But we have other guys that, can play too, and so that's part of your season. That's part of the way it goes, and you have to. Next guy's got to be up, and they had some really good moments, those next guys, in this series, including some of the younger guys, Terry especially. So, that's part of it.
Gethin Coolball with the Sports Exchange. Brad, it's the same end result as last year, a first-round exit, but you guys were able to win a couple games this year and be competitive. Did you see definite progress this time around?
Well, I mean, I think judging by the whole season, yes. I mean, I think that's obvious, right? I mean, you go from 40 under 500 and barely making the playoffs and kind of eking in at the end by winning 6 straight to being in the mix for a top 4 seed in the East. And so, yes, there's progress. But, hey, people have told me all along there's 2 really tough tasks, right? One is getting to be a very good, competitive team at a top 10 to 15 level on offense and defense, and give yourself a chance to be in the discussion we're in now. And that's been a path in the last 3 years to get there. And the next one is tough, and that's been communicated before to me. And we're learning a lot. We learned a lot through this playoff series, but one of the things that I learned is we've got to get better. And you know what? That starts with me. I've got to get better, and then I think each of our players will look at that accountably as well, and we're all going to be better the next time we take the court.
Mark Murphy, Boston Herald. Brad, they hit you guys with a run at the start of the second, the start of the third. It just seemed that every time they came out, they were able to put a run on the board on you guys. What happened on your end?
Well, we struggled with their speed and athleticism really much of the series, especially, when we weren't small. And so, but then, there's only so many minutes for that group. And with Jay in foul trouble, and, the fact that those guys are really good players, we can do a better job than we did in the last 2 games in certain areas. But I think we should give the Hawks credit. I mean, they're better right now, and it pains me to say that, and it's a sour ending, but they just proved it over 6 games, and it's kind of the way my world works. There's a scoreboard, and if you're on the losing end, you're not as good as the other team that wins, and we've got to make strides to get there.
Brad, Jake Fisher, Sports Illustrated. When they start attacking Isaiah in the pick and roll down the stretch, how challenging is it to defend their offense when they're pretty much playing 4-on-3 and the ball's whipping around the perimeter and they're just finding open shooters? Well,
and it's not just the guard in it. Obviously, there's a big in it too, and then there's spacing on the weak side. The challenging, it's not overly challenging if they're not going to knock those shots in, but they've got really skilled guys around, and Mike Scott in the corner at the end of the third quarter was a big shot because we had I talked about this the other day. As crazy as it sounds, we had a little bit momentum cutting it to 15, and that with this team, seems like 5 sometimes. And but that was a huge shot, and then to get the ball back and make that shot at the end of the quarter was huge. The pick and roll is a big part of them. We did a great job in the pick and rolls in the middle throughout the first 5 games statistically, at least based on what I've evaluated. And they went to a lot of their motion cutting in the last 2 games, which gave us fits. They're a good team, and they're a savvy team, and they certainly deserve to win the series.
Brad, Mark Altman, Associated Press. Brad, for you and the team, how frustrating the shooting? I mean, nobody on this team, aside from Isaiah, could get it going in this series. And today you tried to put in different lineups. You got RJ in there, and Olynyk couldn't get it going, and Sullinger couldn't get it going. At some point as a coach, do you just kind of throw your hands up in the air saying, what else do I have? I mean, you've tried all the different combinations.
No, as a coach, you got to think about what can you do better to help them get better looks, or what can I do better to help put us in a better position so that if a run is at 8, it doesn't go to 12. Like you just, you don't lose sleep over the open shots you get. You lose sleep over the possessions where you don't. And hey, there's guys that missed a few shots, but I wasn't perfect either. So I'm not gonna lay blame on the shooting by any means. Certainly it was a factor in the series. Certainly it allowed their defense to collapse, and certainly pay attention to Isaiah. But I still believe in these guys, and I'm thankful for all the shots they made throughout the season that allowed us to get here.
Brad, Jared Weiss, CLNS Radio. When Isaiah hit that finger roll with about 2 minutes left, and then Millsap went back down and got the 3-point play, how do you feel the team reacted to that play?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think we should have just gotten back. I don't know if that's your question or not.
I mean, as far as trying to stay in it after kind of a deflating blow at that point.
Well, I thought they looked deflated as you would for a split second, but then we came back and scored a few times. So, and we were still picking up. I told them in the huddle, I said the calling card of this group is that it doesn't give up, and so we're gonna find that out because it's 27 right now, and so, they gave us a chance to win a lot of games with that mindset.
Jimmy Toscano, CSN. Brad, I imagine there was a lot of disappointing faces in the locker room after the game. What is it that you wanted to get through to those guys? What did you want to tell them?
I think the biggest thing is when you're and it's tough right now because of the emotions of the moment and losing the series, and the way that we lost in the last 2 games. But I think that from a big picture perspective, I feel good about our progress. We have great opportunities to move forward with our future flexibility, and I think that over time, though tonight is sour and you have a sour feeling about it, will make guys more encouraged to get in the gym. I mean, this is for young guys, sour is not all bad, right? Because it's like me. I mean, I'm going to go home and watch what I can do different. I know that, and I hope that our guys feel the same way. They need to take some time off, but after that, let's get better.